Good morning and welcome to Nora's Dog Training Company. We're here this morning with Sandy and Fred, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today on video is Sandy's ability to understand and respond to her obedience commands, the correction and the motivation that we give the puppies when we're working with them, and the training equipment that we're using. Fred is using a regular 6-foot web training leash, and he keeps the bulk of that leash folded neatly in his right hand. That leaves the left hand free to give any correction that we need to give, and the only correction that we give is a little tug and let go on the training collar. And that is the second piece of equipment that we're using. Sandy is going to come home with her very own training collar, and you'll be taught how to use that properly during your follow-up training session. Now, if you notice, Sandy is sitting very nicely at Fred's left, which is where all of our obedience training is done. And the first exercise that they're going to demonstrate for us is heeling. The command is Sandy heel, and at this point she has a job to do. And that is to walk right next to you, matching pace, not dragging you down the street, and each time that you stop your feet, she's been taught to sit automatically without being told to wait for her next command. So this makes walking your dog in public a pleasure instead of a drag. And if you stop to cross traffic or stop to talk to someone, she's sitting nicely at your left and waiting for her next command. And the next command that Fred's going to give is the stay. The stay is a hand and a voice command, and because it is a stationary exercise, it is a one-word command. The long sit stay when you're practicing at home, and you should practice indoors as well as outdoors, is for 1 minute working up to 3 minutes. When Fred returns back to her, he will walk all the way around her, returning all the way back around to where they started. And all of our commands start and stop at heel position. And they take off heeling again. And she's such a smart girl. She's done a great job. She's the best trained dog we have here right now. She can be a little silly and a little spunky, but that's the breed. Fred leaves her again in another sit stay, and you can see how focused she is on him, which is very important in obedience training. Make her hold her stays, and you're going to lengthen out your time and your distance. This time, instead of returning back to her, Fred's going to call her, and she comes right in front and sits beautifully, facing his knees, and that's to eliminate her coming to you and jumping all over you. And then she went back to heel position. And this really helps to keep Sandy's mind occupied. She's very smart, and she needs these things to keep her mind out of trouble. And Fred's going to demonstrate the recall exercise again for you. So he calls her in. She comes right in front and sits, and then she goes back to heel and back sitting. And you can see her looking up at Fred and being very focused. Now they're going to set up for their down commands. So this is your formal obedience training. All of your commands that you're going to use in your everyday living situations with her. Now this is your down from a heel position. So with your dog seated at your left, you take your left open palm straight down toward the ground and the one-word command to down. Your long down stay when you're practicing at home is for 3 minutes, working up to 5 minutes. And again, practice this right in your living room. When Fred returns back to her, he walks all the way around her, just as he did on the sit stay, for an additional distraction, and she should remain lying there until she gets her next command. Perfect automatic sits, perfect heeling. And they're going to demonstrate that down from a heel one more time. And that time Fred just used hand commands. And she's so alert. And this time, instead of returning back to her, he calls her out of that command. She comes right in front and sits, and then she goes back to heel and back sitting. She's like a little machine. And so adorable. She is one I can genuinely say I'm going to miss them when they go. Now this time Fred's going to leave her in a sit stay,
Okay.
And we're going to demonstrate the down from a distance. So you leave your dog in a sit stay, walk out to the end of your leash. You're going to use your right hand to give the command. And that couldn't have been any better. That's your down from a distance. Now we've demonstrated for you her heeling, her automatic sits, her stays, her down from a distance, her come, and her finish. These are the exercises that you're going to be practicing with Sandy when she gets home, and we're going to be helping you to incorporate these exercises into your everyday life. We want to thank you for trusting us with Sandy, and thank you for choosing Nora's Dog Training Company.